Good evening. I'm just hanging out here in the corner of enlightenment, becoming enlightened while drinking some fabulous chaga tea in a French bulldog glass. If you're not familiar with chaga tea, I recommend you get on top of it because it is a very valuable natural mushroom. It's actually a mushroom, and it grows here in North America anyway, and it's very hard and dense, and it's like bark, and you can crush it up and make tea out of it. In fact, I just watched a video on David Avocado Wolf's channel, Longevity Now, and he had a guy on there talking about the 10 most valuable, I guess, plants or foods, and chaga was one of them. Chaga, green tea, goji berries, a couple. Anyway, check his stuff out. David Wolf, obviously legend. Anyway, what's going on? Gonna go ahead and make a video here for the YouTube community at large. All of the brilliant people out there who would like to learn more about what it means to exist as a human being. So right now, I want to talk about journaling. Journaling. Writing shit down is absolutely key. Like, it just is key. I just don't care who you are. Like, you must be writing things down. I could name off, like, innumerable people who talk about writing things down. Joe Rogan talks about it in a really cool YouTube clip that someone made with him with music under it. Write shit down. Napoleon Hill talked about it. It's just all over the place. Leonardo da Vinci wrote shit down relentlessly. Benjamin Franklin. So write your shit down. And I've just recently been going back through old journals that I made, actually from 2010, and I'm going back through them and like highlighting things and making comments about them and like processing through all these old journals. And it is interesting to see like how I've progressed and what things have, like how I've grown in that with 7 years. So that's quite a lot, really. And I've been definitely going pretty hard in terms of progressing. So it's cool. And I'm still doing it. I'm still writing. I'm still processing through new stuff. So absolutely start journaling. 100%. Yeah. So that's going on. Also, another thing I've been doing, which is not really related to journaling, but I just think it's cool, is eating just enormous amounts of greens. Enormous. Just every day. Just grabbing a piece of flat, like fajita, just like a thin fajita, avocado, half an avocado on there, cucumbers, a little bit of turkey for some protein, kale, just a handful of kale, a handful of spinach, wrap that thing up, a couple celery stalks in some water, and some chips. I throw some chips on there just to give it some crunch. Then I get like a glass of kefir or kombucha for the gut bacteria, and just a handful of vitamins, like vitamin D, B12, fish oil, krill oil, kelp, vitamin C, just a hand. I'll just sit there and eat and just consume all that. This is all like at lunchtime. Usually right after I go to the gym. Like I'll hit the gym, work out, I'll just come right home, eat all that for like, it takes me like 20 minutes. I'll just like put on a video or something, or put on like, even just like an episode of a show, just so I can kind of like just chill out for a few minutes, eat all that. It just like jacks my life up. Like I just get jacked up by doing that. It's like just sets me apart. The average person is not doing that. like you think about what like the average person's salad looks like, it's pathetic. It's like a couple of pieces of iceberg lettuce with a tomato and some croutons. Like that shit, that's nothing. Like it's not enough. Like you need to get absolutely enormous quantity. In my opinion, just my opinion. You need to go enormous with the quantities. Just put that in you. So that's been something I've been doing. Let's see what else. What other nuggets of wisdom can I pass on to the generations that will be coming along? Okay. Like, this is tough here, this concept, but it's like always, I guess you could say, like, falling back into yourself, okay, like, into your own, like, comfort and value and love within yourself, and away from external stimulus, validation, like situational confidence that other people are trying to like bestow upon you, which the alternative of that is just them hating on you. So you're leaning always away from that stuff, understanding it's very much unimportant, very much so. But what is important is the fact that you're leaning back into yourself and being like, just facing that like inherent existence that's within yourself. And usually that just manifests itself as like crippling, like pain or stress or anxiety or whatever that is that you are experiencing. Like just whatever that feeling is. Probably if you're into this, what the kind of stuff I'm saying, or you resonate with this, you're probably someone who goes fucking hardcore onto things. So for me, it's just like, whatever's the most horrible, fucking crippling pain that you're feeling, just try to sit with that. Just be like, okay, good. I'm in crippling, unheard of pain and discomfort. Perfect. That's how I know I'm winning. Just stay with that. Just for a while. Just for a couple minutes. Stay with it. And then take a break. And then when you get some energy, go again. And just like sit with it. And all those patterns, this is how you can eventually overcome like old, deeply ingrained patterns and beliefs that are in there deep. Just like one time when you were a kid and like your teacher said you were stupid and blah blah blah, and so you just took that on yourself and were like, oh okay, I guess I'm stupid. And you were like 8 years old, but you just kept that with you. Like that's what a lot of people are doing. You can check this out all across like the like psychology industry, or like all types of like different research that will show this, but you're just like, these unconscious patterns are just like deeply ingrained within yourself. And in order to like dislodge those things, you have to actually like bring awareness to them, okay? And so there's different ways to do it, like through like writing or journaling or like natural like psychedelic medicine, whatever it is you want to do in order to break down those patterns. But what I'm saying here is just one way you can just do it in your life, is just to always be leaning away from the comfort, away from like running away, rather than run away from that pain, discomfort. What I'm recommending is actually just sitting with it and being like, perfect, I'm in debilitating pain and discomfort. And it's like, awesome. You just chill with that. Knowing that if you do that for enough hours, like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours, 10,000 hours, I guess that's, Dr. Robert Greene talked about that in his book Mastery. I guess he came up with that idea of 10,000 hours. But I mean, that's what it takes, like, to become a master at something. So to become a master of yourself, something tells me it would take thousands of hours, maybe 10,000. But get the fuck started, even if it's just a couple minutes. So it's almost like a meditation. In fact, you don't even really have to meditate if you're going to be doing this. You can just be like, good, I'm sitting with my pain today for 2 minutes, and then just go about the rest of your day as normal. Like avoiding responsibility or avoiding your feelings or like watching TV or whatever. But then tomorrow, do it again. Like get on those 2 minutes again. And then hopefully you can expand it to like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours each day. And eventually, supposedly, I guess, you can just live your whole life like in the moment, in the present moment. And maybe at some point, supposedly, I don't even know if I'm necessarily really to that point yet, but supposedly, I guess, you know, someday, rather than that just be like crippling, uncomfortable pain, it could just be like, oh, this is just my existence. Like, yeah, it's fun. This is great. Like the sun's out. Oh, okay, awesome. I suppose. Like, I guess that would make sense. So that's what like I would recommend for the average person or for anyone. I don't think there's any other way. Personally, I just don't think there is. Like. Yeah. And our society is not recommending that. Like, it's not, like, proposing you do these types of things. It's always attempting to distract you from that. Like, it doesn't want to do that. Our society, like our, like, mainstream, like, established the institutions and stuff, are basically just setting you up to always avoid your own experience. Like, oh, don't worry about that pain, go see a doctor. And then you go to see the doctor, he's like, oh, don't worry about that, we'll just give you a pill, or we'll just do this. Like, but that's all the wrong approach. Like, don't get me wrong, if you get bitten by a snake, yeah, get some fucking anti-venom. Like, but in general, you want to just, like, experience whatever pain the fuck you have inside of you and try to break that shit down. Because probably it's some, like, amalgamation of, like, physical, mental, spiritual, fucking metaphysical, like, disturbance, like, manifesting as this, like, feeling of pain, I guess, or discomfort within you. You have to, like, just address that all around and, like, own that and become it. And it will eventually probably, like, expel from you as some kind of gift, you know? Like, because most people are just, like, suppressing all their shit. Like, all their emotions, all their dreams, all their ideas, all their intuition. They're just like, fucking kill that, crush it, I hate it. Like, most people. Like, that's our society. Like, 80-90% of people are just, like, trying to crush that stuff or just, like, fill it up with, like, I need to get a new car, I need to get a new, like, relationship, more money, da-da-da, like, yeah. But that's, like, none of that will ever, from what I can see, like, it's just not gonna work. Like, it's just all a lie. You're just, like, once you get the car, you're just gonna want another one. They're like, oh, I got this really hot girlfriend, oh, but then she left me, I need another one. Like, just don't even chase that game, like, or you see guys who get into the gym and just, they always need to get bigger, just, like, more juice, like, more. And that's fine, like, to a degree, to, like, always want to improve, but you have to understand it's, like, you need to go both ways. Like, it's like a tree. Like, you need to grow. Like, yeah, you're always growing bigger. Like, yeah, fuck it, grow bigger. But you always need to put the roots down, too. So, a lot of times, like, people get carried away with, like, the leaves and the tree, like, and the limbs, like, oh, bigger house, bigger car, yeah. But their lives, like, deep down inside themselves, the roots are fucked up. They have, like, shit relationships, and they hate their fucking wife, and all this type of stuff. Like, again, like, it's crazy to say, but, like, it seems to be the norm. Like, that really is the norm. Like, it's fucked. But it's obvious, too, because you see the way we treat, like, we have people just going on, like, killing rampages and stuff, and, like, we just fucking cut down the forest, like, do the craziest shit. So it's, like, obvious that we're, like, the most people are, like, deeply messed up. And as well, like, it's messed up and, like, hard to take that, like, like even like someone like me would sit here with a damn fucking V-neck white shirt and a beard in a corner drinking chaga tea out of a French bulldog cup and be like spouting some truth, right? It's almost like pisses you off to a degree, probably. Being like, what the fuck does this guy know? Like, god damn it, like, where's his money? Like, I have no money. Like, so it is a bit, like, hard to take. But I think that's kind of part of it, because it is fucked up that you think, like, no one really knows. Like, nobody, there's not some, like, random doctor in, like, a laboratory somewhere who somehow, like, knows, like, a lot better than I do, I guess. Like, not to say I know everything, but it's like, there is no, like, wise man in the clouds. Like, it's fucked. And I was like that with a lot of people that I first started to, like, learn from. Like, I can remember even when I first started watching Joe Rogan's podcast, I was like, did not want to believe that. Like, I was like, no way, like, that's no way, like, he doesn't know, like, who's this guy with the big head and in the UFC, and he's a talking crazy comedian shit. Like, I didn't want to believe it, like, I was like, no, fuck that. Like, there's, like, the politicians know, or, like, the doctors know, or someone's got it all figured out, like, da-da-da, but it's a bitter, bitter pill. It's like a bitter pill, like, to really start to come to terms with the idea that nobody knows. And so for me, it was like, became funny in a way that, like, for example, like Rogan sitting there in his little like podcast studio, making those podcasts and talking like crazy ideas about like aliens and like drugs and like conspiracies and like all kinds of crazy shit. But what I began to realize was, like, he had a point. Like, he had a point. Like, I couldn't, it just, no matter how much, like, I wanted to deny it, like, and I'd be like, no, fuck that, like, I would shut it off, but I would find myself, like, coming back, like, a few months later and being like, fuck, he's got a point, like, and I just had to eventually accept it, like, that no one really knows, and that, like, it's only whatever you work towards yourself to understand. It's about the amount of effort you put in, the amount of time you work towards uncovering your own genius, your own love, your own, like, experience, and translating that into your fucking actual life, right? And the way you relate with others and stuff. And it's like that's the value, like, that is the experience. And it turns out that this type of life, I guess you could actually call it like the red pill, like, I guess, like, from the Matrix. Like, you take the red pill and you actually, like, unplug from the Matrix and wake up and be like, oh my shit, like, that whole thing was a lie. Like, I was living in just a virtual reality. Like, none of that's even real. And in many ways, that's true. Like, in many ways, it is that. It is that profound. It's that, like, traumatic. It's like your whole belief structure, the whole architecture of your concept of reality can break down. The deeper you go into this type of thinking that I'm talking about, and understanding your own self and the deeper nuances of reality, and of just, like, not even in, like, a metaphysical way, or even just anything you go into, like, even if it's just, like, to understand how, like, women think, or to understand how, like, your friends probably don't want you to succeed, or, like, to understand that the, like, medical system doesn't really have the answers for you, or the education system doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, no one really knows, and it's up to you to try to find a way to make sense and connect with other people and try to create some kind of, like, compassionate, like, loving, like, community together. And that there is added to that, like, a like a like transcendental, universal sort of law to things. There is like a universal kind of spirit, kind of energy, like that sort of just is. Like the way that a tree grows, the way that like a bird flies, the way the universe fucking expands itself. Like there is like a deeper truth, a deeper like a deeper sense, a deeper logic to life, to the way that things are. There's like some beautiful like magistry to it all. But it isn't in a way that's like straight lines and like an exact equation. And if you do this and this, then it will all work out. Like if you become a lawyer, then it's gonna work. Then the girls will like you, and da 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 da. Like that type of thinking is just a distraction. Like it's not going to get you anywhere. In fact, the farther down you go into that, the farther you are away. It's just the longer you have to come back. It's like an alcoholic who just like drinks and drinks and drinks, and their life is falling apart around them, but they can't face it, so they just keep drinking, like because they don't want to face it. But the more they drink, the more chaos happens, and they're just getting farther and farther and farther away. And at some point, they're going to have to stop, or they'll just die, or they'll just be drunk until they do die, I guess. But at some point, they're going to have to stop me. Like, fuck, I'm so far down this road. But, you know, the only thing you can do is fucking turn around, start walking back. You know, like one step at a time. Like it's fucked, and that's what all this is like, in my opinion. Like, it's all like that. It's like I get it. Like it is fucked up. Like it sucks. Like to have to open your eyes and recognize these things, and like maybe your relationships are messed up. Like maybe your personal boundaries are messed up. Maybe you hate your job, or you hate your fucking friends, or whatever it is. Like, or you realize you're like way overweight, or like you've been lying to yourself, or you really got to tell that one person that thing you got to tell them, but you've been scared to, or whatever it might be. It's like, I know it's hard, like for sure, like 100%. But what I would recommend is understand that there just isn't another option. Like there is no other way. Like you that's the way. Like you inherently already know the truth. You inherently already know what the way is. The deal is you have to practice at it, right? You have to manually establish those patterns, like those neurological pathways, the like physiological like expedition towards understanding a new like interface of reality. Like you have to fucking do it step by step. It's like learning a new fucking skill. How to play the guitar slowly, one chord at a time. Like it sucks. It's fucked. But there's no other way. Like you just gotta do it. Like, and it's too bad someone didn't teach you this when you were 10 years old, and you could have started then, and by the time you're 20 or 30, you'd be fucking on the path. You'd have your shit together. It's insane. It's insane. Like, this is what our society does to people. It just fucking sets them adrift. But it's like, if you're still alive, then you still have a chance. Like, if you're hearing, like, this message, or wherever you want to get it from, like Joe Rogan, or Alan Watts, or, like, Wayne Dyer, or, like, innumerable people that will tell you the same thing in a little bit different way. And if you resonate with them, then go to them. If you resonate with me, then cool. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not like I have some special knowledge that I'm like magically Jesus and I know everything. Like, anyone can figure it out. In fact, I would love to like recommend like 100 books and like podcasts and YouTube and sources, and you can figure it all out yourself. And you'll come to like a slightly different like take on things, but in general you understand a lot of the same principles probably. So it's like there's not really any time to waste. Like there's no reason to not get started. It's like, you know, if you're drowning and someone throws you a life preserver and you're like, it's right up there, and you're like, wait, just let me check again. And you put your head under the water again, and you're like, blub, blub, blub. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Like, it's still fucking water. I'm still gonna drown. Like, you don't need to, like, try again. It's like, you're gonna fucking drown under there. Like, what do you want to do? Give me 10 more minutes. I might be able to survive underwater. Let me see. I think I'm growing gills. You try it, and you're like, okay, you're right. Let me out of here. Like, no. Like, it. Like, get out of there right away. And if you work hard in a year, 2 years, 3 years, fucking a decade, you can develop yourself to be someone who has, like, integrity with themselves, who have confidence, who has, like, health and vitality. And you can share that with other people. And maybe fucking someday you can pass that on to your fucking kids or your grandkids or your neighbors or whatever the fuck. If you start now. And it could take you longer. It could take you fucking 20 years. I don't know. It could take you 6 months. It's like, or it's always a journey, but it's like, it takes time. Like, it's not easy at all. Like, it's not easy. Not even, no. Like, no. Easy, no. That's not in the agenda. It's simple to some degree. It can be simple, in some way. But, and again, just my experience. Like, I have not personally seen, easy doesn't seem like a good description. I don't really see that as being the way. Like, from what I see, it's like, it's not like Michael Jordan was like, yeah, it was easy. No, it's like, it's hard because you're growing, you're learning, you're going against the grain of what most people are doing. Like, failure, well, like laziness, I guess, or like lack of drive, or like not taking responsibility for yourself, that would be the default. So, like, that's what's gonna happen to you if you just, like, let things work out. If you're just like, 1 second, I'm gonna plug this thing in. Oh no, it's plenty of battery. So yeah, it's like, there's no easy path from what I can see. Certainly not. But all this stuff is really the, like, lessons that I've accumulated from now, like, I guess definitely several years, like, at the least, of learning and being on this path. And I guess we all kind of always are, to some degree. Like, we always are, like, born to be on this path, but so many of us get sidetracked and lost. And, like, I say with the, like, drinking, like, alcoholic analogy, like, you could spend, like, 10 or 15 years drunk, and you didn't really get anywhere with that. It's like, you just have to start from where you are. If you're, like, 45 and you've been drunk for, like, 20 years, it's like, okay, you need to start from where you're at. Like, you got a lot of work to do, and you got to unwind all those past traumas and experiences, but, if you start now, you can. So, that, I guess, is my opinion on things. Maybe there's somebody who would benefit from these explanations. I would like to say that to all, have a good week. Enjoy the sunlight, if you have sunlight. Enjoy the clouds. Possibly the trees, if there's leaves on them especially. I personally like the trees and the leaves. I like the way that the wind blows in the leaves and then the sun comes down and hits them. I find that plenty of contrast. Like, to experience some contrast. Like, I don't want more, like, stimulation than that. Like, to me, that's enough. Like, I don't need to go to a fucking amusement park. Like, I don't need that. Like, it's like, there's already so much stimulation to process through in this, like, society. So it's like, to me, a couple leaves with some sunlight, I'm good. I'll just sit there for like an hour looking at it and being like, okay, great. Stimulus, awesome. So, that's the program. Today's takeaway: journal. Get up on it. Drink chaga tea. Get some chaga. In maybe one of these videos, I'm going to recommend my friend's company that sells chaga. Possibly a sponsor of the YouTube channel. Awesome. Money. Yeah. The other recommendation: get started right away on your journey to self-discovery and reflection. Do not wait. Get started immediately. Get a book. Get a journal. Get some podcasts. Get a YouTube. Get some good YouTube videos to watch. Find some other like-minded people. Crank it up. Get going. Alright. Peace out.